Want some? Get some. Can I get a hell yeah?
Yes, I am a pirate.
You have to go with the pirates because, of course, they have cannons and everything.
It's a pirate's life for me.
Be proud of who you are and what you are. You're pirate.
It is a first down. Pirates.
Because when you're at East Carolina, you go for it every time. Or you don't coach at East Carolina, you don't come to East Carolina, you don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it.
I think I've ever been in a building as loud as that was. It was deafening in there.
Whoever Omaha, I can promise you that.
And it's purple all night long in Eastern North
You're
Carolina.
watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.
Yeah. My heart is purple and gold. I'm a pirate down of my soul, and I don't back down, not at all. Find out when the cannons explode.
All right, welcome in to the Pirate Football Preview right here on the Sports Objective. As we're talking Pirates, we're talking Tulsa tomorrow night, Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. I know Johnny Roberts is going to be there. I know Kyle will be there, and I was hoping we could get Stevie. We'll get Stevie down.
Stevie's got plans. Stevie's got plans.
Yeah, I know. We get well.
What's your
We're
plans
going to get
tomorrow
you
night,
to a game.
Stevie?
I had a blast with you and your daughter.
Stevie's got a birthday tomorrow.
What are you doing for your birthday, Stevie?
My mom is cooking the world's greatest meatloaf for me. So.
Oh man, I love meatloaf.
I don't know what it's going to take to get Stevie to come to a game.
I've been to a game, dude.
Yeah, he came.
Well, you've been to a game ever. I'm talking about this year.
Year.
Stevie, what's the Pirates?
It's gonna be a year.
Could you imagine if we had him on the show as a co-host and he'd never been to a game ever?
He has been.
I know. I'm saying this year.
I was going to games while you were still pooping yellow, Kyle.
Woo!
Oh my goodness.
Stevie, what are the Pirates? How do they do when you go to the game?
We won when you were you and your daughter, right?
No, we didn't, Dave. Don't you remember? That was who was that?
Marshall,
yeah.
Oh,
Marshall.
Yeah. Daggone.
Yeah, the first game I went to was back in the '84. We won that game. That was God, who was that? Can't remember off the top of my head. But then Temple, I think Temple in '85, when they had Paul Palmer and he ran all over us that day. I was so disappointed. They beat the crap out of us that night. But
well, maybe it's best you stay home then.
Yeah, see, I might be a jinx, Kyle.
No, he was there.
But you know what?
He was there for the 2014 North Carolina game, for example.
Exactly, I was there. That was my daughter's first ever ECU game. So, I told her on the way home, I said, don't get spoiled about this too much because chances are we might not score 70 every time you come to a game. But enjoy this one. It was a good first one for her.
Awesome. Man, that's a great game to go to for your first one, man. That's one of the most legendary games ever. By the way, guys, before we get breaking down, did you guys see the stat? I'm going to see if you may already know this, and y'all are very intelligent. So we have a milestone at Dowdy-Ficklin we're getting ready to break. Do you know what it is for number of people coming in?
I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
So we're getting ready sometime this season. It's a fun fact. Sometime this season, we will have 10 million people that have come in Dowdy-Ficklin since the beginning of Dowdy-Ficklin, the entire time. 10 million people. And, it just amazes me to think about,
Did you know Shelley Benninger is going to break the same record this year?
Oh, my God. I'm not touching that one. Not touching that one, brother.
I wouldn't either after 10 million.
Nice.
Anyway, yeah, guys. So we're all having fun here on a.
It's all in jest. It's all in jest. It's not slanderous if it's in jest.
Oh, sure.
So
exactly. Off to a great start. Hey, Johnny, Stevie, Kyle, glad to have you here tonight. And I do have one more announcement I'm going to make, a milestone, but this is for us and on purpose. I did not put it in the group chat because I wanted to get y'all's reaction. So on Monday, the Sports Objective on our YouTube channel, we have a milestone of our own, Guess how many views we've had since 2018 when we started our YouTube channel rather.
Since 2018, since we started our YouTube
Yeah.
page. In total,
Yeah.
300,000.
625,000 views on
Wow.
YouTube.
Now we can just do that on one video.
Yeah, that'd be great.
If we can get Kyle to streak on Johnny Pickens Stadium.
Yeah.
Good gosh.
Wow.
I don't want him. Listen, I don't want him to be tackled. I don't want him banned.
There's two things about that. One, at least my belly will hide my wiener, so I won't get charged as a sex offender. Two, I might trip over my balls.
Okay. Alrighty then. I went there, so I knew that would be coming. So let's talk. Let's move on to our preview as we have Brian North from WCTI 12 coming up.
And if here at the beginning of the show, he's not coming on.
Yeah, well, he's like me. He has dad duty right now, and so we pushed it back to 8:30 because he's an awesome dad. So 8 o'clock is bedtime. So he's helping his kids right now go to bed. So we're getting them to bed. So in the meantime, I want to give you guys a chance to get your thoughts out there. How are you feeling about tomorrow night? I tell you what, I'm going to start with Stevie. And by the way, Stevie, you can come to any game you want to, brother. And we're going to have I don't know if you can come to the Memphis game or to the Charlotte game, but I'd love to have you.
I got you, bud. How am I feeling about this game? I'm like Kyle, like we talked about on Sunday night. I think the line did the line go up, Kyle?
Last I saw 17.5. Yeah, I didn't check it today, but as of last night.
I think it stayed at 17.5, but I don't feel I hope we can cover that, but I think that's a little too high, but I feel pretty good about this game. I think it's a good chance for us to clean up some stuff and hopefully the offense will get on track and the play calling get on track tomorrow night. Good, and thankfully this will be the last of the Thursday night games.
I know you guys have talked about it, and I know why they do it, but it just seemed like there may be a game, I think, towards the end when Semenza was there where we won, but there was a long stretch here where we just didn't do well on Thursday nights. It's kind of like my Redskins on Monday nights, and hello, again, we played on Monday night and lost. I'm not a Monday night football fan if it's my team. I do like having Monday night football if it's not my team playing, so I can watch football on Monday night.
Well, Pittsburgh plays tomorrow night too, and we absolutely suck prime time on Thursday night, so we'll probably lose tomorrow night. So I'm hoping.
That's why Stevie don't want to come to the game anymore.
No, I don't want to watch. I want to watch regular football.
That's what I was going to say. Oh my God, you beat me, Stevie. I was going to say that.
We're 1-2 on Thursdays this year. We beat Army obviously handily. 1-0 at home. I don't know what our all-time record is on Thursday night. I know part of that is a lot of those Thursday night games we had over the years early on were against Virginia Tech and Syracuse.
Yeah.
And then, we had some big matchups with Southern Miss and Louisville. But there's been some success on Thursdays. There's not. I'm trying to think of a marquee moment we've had on Thursday. I can remember beating TCU at the very end, like on a last-second field goal in 2001. And I'm trying to remember of any, do you need to, it seems like it would come to mind immediately. Does anybody remember, didn't we win in 2000? Didn't we upset a good Louisville team up at Louisville when they were the favorite?
Right,
that's probably our
I'll tell you
best Thursday night win.
The very worst Thursday night game. You know where I'm going, Kyle?
Oh gosh, I think I know where he's going to.
Virginia Tech.
No. The UCF game, the clock management game.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's
maybe not the worst play. He's not talking about the worst play in Kyle. He's talking about the worst ending.
Yeah, that was bad. I don't know. Those were tit for tat. You had the multiple block punts against Virginia Tech with all the hype around that game in 2000, and then the UCF game, the Hail Mary, where we had the game won, and Ruffin and Lincoln kind of overthought things, and then the defense somehow couldn't bat the ball down. You know what always drove me crazy, and now we don't need to relitigate that game, but what always drove me crazy about that game was, all right, so we take knees, and we end up kept going backwards, and because we're going to run the clock out, and gave them the ball back. And my thought was always, people said, should we have kicked the field goal? Should we have taken the knee? No, the answer wasn't we should have taken a knee. And no, we shouldn't have kicked the field goal. We should have just kept handing the ball off 4 straight downs, kept going forward, whether we got it in the end zone or not, and then gave them the ball back with 20 seconds left at the 10-yard line. Good luck getting to the freaking end zone from there. I still, for the life of me, don't know why they ever thought that. But anyway, we don't need to talk about 2014.
Yeah, Stevie, real quick, I wanted to ask you as a coach. So if you remember, we were driving down the Murphy Center end of that game. And for me, if I'm Shane Carden, if he could have felt like what I was going to do is.
No, we were going the other way. We were going towards the Boneyard, and the Hail Mary was towards the Murphy Center.
I'll have to look back at that again. I swear I remember being the other way because
it was I promise you.
But anyway, regardless, I wanted to ask you, Stevie, as far as a quarterback is concerned, and you got Carden, scramble around a little bit, buy some, seconds. And I said, throw the ball, just
hand it off 4 straight times. Hand it off 4 straight times.
Don't try to be cute. Just try to hand the ball off. It's what I would do. Try to run the ball and run some time off the clock, and hopefully you pick up a first down and try to run some more time off. That's what I would do.
And with the amount of time that was left, if we hadn't gone backwards, there's no way he could have got to the end zone.
Craig says every time Kyle says, "You know what drives me crazy?" I always think, I don't know, Kyle. What doesn't?
You know what? I always think when Kyle says that, I always think about Family Guy. You know what grinds my gears?
Oh yeah, I love that show.
But just everybody kept, even like right now, Dave, when you were talking about Carden running around, all that, it still, again, everybody was overthinking it. You didn't need to do anything. You do nothing. Just hand the ball off, say secure the ball, go forward. Don't try to break a tackle. If you hit a crease, go. Otherwise, if they wrap you up, go down. They're going to try to strip the ball security, ball security, ball security, ball security, and 4 straight downs. And then good luck, because they would have had it between the 10 and 15. Good luck getting it to the end zone with 20 seconds left from there. Instead, we gave it to them at almost freaking midfield.
Pirates were driving towards Murphy Center. Perriman Hail Mary was in a boneyard also.
Really? I'm remembering it backwards. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's actually a sun. Yeah, I know. Axel, thank you. It's actually a sunspot. I got to be careful with. I wish it was something, but it's something I have to like Richard Allsbrook, our good friend. I got to worry about it is make sure I have to deal with that. I've got to do a better job of taking care of my skin for sure. But that's a whole nother show, as they say. But thank you for mentioning that. Maybe I can start wearing makeup, right? Hey, anybody help me with makeup over here? But anyway, yeah. So let's go to 2025. Let's talk about the game. I agree with you, Kyle. I think as far as the line is concerned, I will say this. I do believe the Pirates win, and I'll give my score, obviously, at the end of the show, as we always do. But I think it's a few. I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking at. I think it's a few points too high. I
agree. Yeah. And so typically when I see things like this,
you're nervous about it?
No, my mind normally goes Vegas knows something. There's a reason this line seems odd, but Vegas has been so bad with lines the last week. I think really what we're seeing, if you look at all the upsets this past week and all the games that were closer than the line indicated,
right.
I think what we're seeing is we're at midseason now, and everybody's got transfers. Everybody has talent now within their level. So if you're in the American, you should have talent, equal to the American. If you're in the SEC, you have talent equal to the SEC. And by mid-season, all these transfer players have come together and starting to play as teams. So I think you're going to see a lot. I think Vegas is going to have to get a little bit more conservative on these lines because of the portal. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but I saw this past week a lot of games that the lines were much bigger. I mean, you saw some, like, you look at ODU Marshall, for example. ODU was like a 20-some point favorite, and Marshall blew them out. I mean, there's a lot of games like that this week.
Penn State the last 2 weeks favored by 20 and lost both games.
Yeah, but what Vegas doesn't care what the final score is. They're not predicting a score with the lines. They could care less. They're just trying to get equal money on both sides. So they feel like 17 and a half. Yeah, no, but that doesn't. Yeah, Vegas is smarter than we are, and they're not trying to predict a final score. If they think more people are going to, go ECU's way, they're jacking the line up, and they don't know they don't care what the final score is. In my opinion,
that's a good. I've never thought about that, Johnny. That's a good point. But anyway, so
and now after our Jimmy the Greek session,
well. Can we talk about Tulsa then?
Yeah, Johnny, with the looking at the stats, one of the things that jumped out at me is one of the things that maybe the line is. I think they're right, but just a few points higher. Like I said, is Tulsa's defense, especially in the pass, is pretty bad, right?
No, they're good in the pass. They're fifth in the American. They're bad at the run. Which is going to be interesting to see how we attack that. I was hoping that we would, get back to passing more than running. But I mean, if they're going to let us get 5-6 yards a carry, I mean, we have to exploit that. And it'll be interesting to see how many running backs we use, and who's, and who gets the most reps. So I mean, it's all interesting.
Well, Blake kind of implied to me at the press conference that we're going to see more of the Marlon Gunn, Engelman combination. I mean, that's kind of what I took away from the press conference. So we'll see. David Glenn, our friend David Glenn, he's bullish on us in this game. He doesn't think Tulsa's going to be able to score on us. So I respect DG's opinion. Hope he's right.
He's going to be there tomorrow night.
Yeah, is he? Didn't realize that.
He's going to sit with you, Kyle.
Do what? Yeah.
He's going to sit with you.
Okay, that's fine. No problem with that. I like DG.
I know. You just don't like the opponents when they're like heckling you, like talking trash.
No, I don't even mind talking trash as long as it ain't personal.
Kyle doesn't mind talking trash. I mean,
you
not know that Kyle Dave.
Oh, of course I do.
As long as it's not personal, as long as you get. But Tulsa is Tulsa's a team like JR said, good pass defense, struggle against the run. Now, is their pass defense looking good because people just run the ball on them? Because if most teams, unless you're somebody like, let's say North Texas, most teams, if you can run, you're going to run. It's easier. It's less risk of turnover. So, how good is their pass defense versus how bad is their run defense? JR, where's their run defense ranked in the league? You said their pass defense.
Yeah, it's 10th or 11th. But here's the thing.
So it's not the worst.
Yeah, but their pass defense, they have a dude that's he's tied for the lead in the nation with 5 interceptions, but 4 of his interceptions came in conference games in the American against Navy and Memphis. Nobody else in the league has more than 1 interception in the league. He's got 4, but he's been beat also. People are still throwing at him. Normally when someone has 4 interceptions in 2 games, people don't throw at him, but
he's aggressive, apparently.
He gets thrown at, just like the Tulane DBs. They were a bit early, like I said last show. I expect the same thing with this team, with Tulsa.
All right, fellas, backstage right now from WCTI. Let's bring him in. Brian Norris from Channel 12. How are you, sir?
Doing fine. Hope you guys are.
So did you get dad duties done? I was bragging about you're a great dad, and we want to spot you 30 minutes. So.
Yeah. The older one's pretty good. She stayed up a few minutes later, but we just tucked her in. The younger one is the problem child, but she's with mom right now. So as soon as I'm done with this, I get to carry her to her bed, and hopefully she stays asleep, and we don't go round and round all night long.
Man, so bringing in Brian Norris, 1998. You followed the Pirates for a long, long time.
Yep.
And we're giving our thoughts about Tulsa. So just want to get your thoughts, and we'll keep the conversation going. But you're next up. What are you feeling about the game? How are you feeling?
Yeah, Tulsa is not the Tulsa that we're used to seeing. The team that was always a tough out, the team that with the Oklahoma roots and how good they were, and they're kind of going through that rebuilding phase, trying to figure out their identity. They have the nice win against Oklahoma State, but overall they've struggled from what we're used to seeing with that pedigree from that team, and so they're on kind of that downward trend where ECU was 4, 5, 6 years ago when they went through the Scotty Montgomery time. So it's a game on paper. The Pirates should be favored. I know Vegas had them at 17.5 points at one point.
Yeah.
And that's probably about right if ECU plays to its abilities. Now, this is not a short week. This is they're kind of in that Thursday groove right now. They're playing back at home where they're better. Tulsa's got to make the long road trip middle of the week. The only thing I don't like about Thursday games is you don't get the home crowd, because ECU draws regionally so much that you're not going to have as much of the home field advantage with a full stadium as you might during the weekend. But having said all that, if ECU plays anywhere close to its abilities, it should win this game. And it's just a matter of whether they can cover that 17.5. But the way the matchup looks on paper right now, the Pirates, this is a game that you should pencil in as a win at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, 9-9 all time is the series. I did chat GTP. I checked. I got them to average out the all time score, because it seems like Tulsa and East Carolina played a lot of close games.
Yeah,
and there's like a 1 point differential all time if you combined all scores. So historically, these are very close games. Last year, we traveled to Tulsa. I think, if I remember correctly, we were a 7-point favorite on the road. Tulsa was struggling, and that game came down to the end. We had to win it on a defensive stand in the goal line on fourth down, if everybody remembers. And so, who knows? I think Tulsa's going to struggle to score points on us. The question is going to be, how much are we going to click offensively? Is it going to be a 7? Are we going to struggle to score and it end up being a 2013 type ball game, or are we going to put them away like we're capable of? I really, I'd rather put them away, but at the same time, at some point we need to win a close game. We have either blown people out or we've lost. Yeah. And at some point you need to win a close game. I really don't want it to be this one.
No.
I think we're going to have to do that on the road in Philadelphia in a couple of weeks if we're going to win. I think that's going to come down to the wire, not overlooking Tulsa. But, Trey Lance's a creative coach. He's had an off week to get ready for the Pirates. There's certainly some familiarity there between him and Blake Harrell when he was at Gardner-Webb and some other places. This is, it's going to be interesting. I think the line's too big, personally. I look at it as 17.5. Can we win this game by 17? Absolutely. Can we win it by more than 17? Absolutely. But I really thought this line was going to be 8 to 9 points. So if I was going to guess, we're not going to cover it. I think the Pirates win, but we don't cover. But, I hope I'm wrong. I hope we beat them by 40.
Yeah. Yeah, primetime game. ECU seems to, coming off the loss, I'm curious to see how they play. But this offense does take possessions off. We see a lot of empty possessions.
Sometimes quarters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And so, if they play again close to their potential, I think that 17 number is about right on the mark. But I'm with you. With some of the empty possessions they have sometimes, that can be a little maddening, and they keep teams in it a little bit longer than they should. So it is an interesting number to look at, but it's look, I can remember some of those great Tulsa games. I can remember the Skip Holtz championship years having to struggle to go down there and win. I can remember the Hail Mary game, which was one everybody talks about, but I can hear Tulsa came in and just throttled ECU. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but it's always been a really good series. And these two teams ebbing back and ebb and flow back and forth a little bit. And I just think ECU's got the advantage here. But it all comes down to, you're right, that offense has got to have less empty possessions. I do think the defense will come ready to play. And I think, they can probably, as long as they keep them under 21, this should be an easy Pirate win.
Hey, Brian, got a real quick, Johnny. Sorry, Johnny. Craig says, we've got breaking news. Police are responding to the North residence for a report of a man staring at his phone, talking to himself in the backyard.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah. banned outside right now because the kids are sleeping inside. So the neighbors are getting a nice preview of ECU football right now.
Kenny says Brian Northeastern North Carolina sportscasting legend, the GOAT. Absolutely, Kenny. 100%. So, sorry, Johnny, go back to what you're saying. I just want to put that out real quick while we had a chance.
No, I was just going to say, I know Baylor Hayes, the redshirt freshman that Trey brought from ETSU with him. I know he's getting a start because they feel like Kirk Francis may be the better quarterback, but he needs like weapons around him and he needs a better offensive line. And they feel like Baylor Hayes is better when he's under duress. But, I remember in 23, Tulsa came here and beat us, and Kirk Francis threw for 300 yards and a couple of touchdowns. So it's going to be interesting to see.
That was an irritating game, JR. Why'd you have to bring that up?
I'm sorry, Kyle. It's going to be interesting to see if Baylor struggles at all if they bring in Kirk Francis. I'm thinking that they will. And I just want to say one other thing is if we can hold them down early, we're in pretty good shape, because in the second half they're getting outscored 54-9. They haven't been able to score in the second half. And I don't know if it's just the scripted plays that they're doing well with and then they struggle. I'm not sure, but
Blake implied that, JR.
Okay.
Yeah. So by the way, Brian, I don't know if you're a wrestling fan. I've never asked you that or not, but we talked about the 2020 game of Tulsa. I call it instead of the Montreal screw job, I call it the Tulsa screw job, because we get that game. Yeah, I had to bring it up there, but.
The 2020 Tulsa game was one of the weirdest officiated. That final drive, there was a play that was reviewed. It was reviewed, and it was odd. I don't remember the exact play. We'll have to get Holton to talk about that, but as he did on the show the other night, but we didn't talk about the exact play. But I want to say Tulsa was driving. They fumbled the ball. They called it a fumble on the field.
Oh, yeah.
And we recovered it. And on the replay, it was obvious.
And they gave it back.
And they reversed it. There was three plays on that drive. And, I have my own conspiracy theory, which I won't talk about on the air, as to why I legitimately think we were screwed in that game. And Holton thought so, too. And then I sent Holton the conspiracy theory. He wasn't aware of it. And then once I sent that to him the other night, he was like, holy crap. But I'm not going to talk about it on the air. If people want to figure that out, they can look it up for themselves, because people are going to take it. Some people are going to take it the wrong way.
Right. And Alan Vick says, by the way, Kyle, I was told off the record there's nothing wrong with Hauser physically, and they wouldn't tell me if there was. LOL.
Yeah, no, I know. I just kind of wanted to ask just so Blake would have to be pressed on it. But, at the same time, no, they're not going to answer it honestly, because they don't want the opponents to know it. Just like when Holton had his injuries, they kept it under wraps. But
I was talking about
do what?
I was just going to add to Brian, so Brian would know that my concern is that Hauser's throws are not quite as crisp as they have been. So I was just wondering, people have been talking about his.
Well, it wasn't just your concern. It was quite a few people that were concerned about his looking like he was having trouble with kind of underthrowing the deep ball.
Yep.
Yeah, and so right, and that's where his game's been predicated so strong. And remember, he only played half the year last year, and I heard some of the players talking about Mike Wright coming in, and would have confidence in them. One of them said it unprompted, so I thought that was kind of interesting and maybe a little bit of a look into what's going on there. So Mike Wright transferred in. He's been around, but he's got some experience. So I'm curious what the offense will look like differently if he's in a lot more, or if they just keep running the same thing and he can replicate what Hauser's done successfully. So, no, it's this time of year, people start getting banged up, right? No one's healthy unless you're a guy who hasn't played all year. So you're starting to have to battle through some of these injuries. And so, now that'll be an interesting thing to watch, to see. But Hauser's been tough ever since he's been a starter for a year now. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. And gamers never want to come out. Gamers want to find a way. So I'll be real curious to see, or if they give Mike Wright some extra reps in there just to give Hauser a little bit of relief. That'll be an interesting part of the game plan.
Brian, have you heard any of those rumors? You mentioned a player bringing that up on his own about Mike Wright. Have you heard any of the Hauser injury rumors? Or
no, and they keep that stuff pretty tight, and but I haven't had anybody come out specifically. I think most people think Hauser at 75% is still pretty darn good, and you find other ways. They still throw a lot of the short stuff that he can hit, some of the stuff over the middle. So I have not heard that specifically. Like there's a major concern with him, but I think if you're in the program and you see that, I wouldn't be surprised to see some different looking packages. And look, the running game. Marlon Gunn ran well the other night. Maybe you start running the ball a little bit more. I don't know. I haven't broken down the Tulsa defense to figure out where they're more vulnerable when it comes to the run or the pass. But that's the coaches will figure that out. But I'm curious to see if the game, the play calling is a little bit different.
Yeah,
they are. Go ahead, JR.
I was just going to say, with the rushing, I mean, even though Tulsa is not really having a lot of success, they have 7 rushing plays at 20+ yards. We only have 2. So, I mean, if we're going to really be contenders in the end, we're going to have to fix that. So, normally I say the more passes, the better. But against this defense, I'm kind of rooting for the run game, to show us something.
Yeah, Tulsa's 5th best in the league against the pass and around 11th or 12th best in the league against the run. So they are much more susceptible to the run. I just go back to Hauser. When you look even last year when we had Garcia, you look at the amount of deep balls we threw, and then it continued with Hauser, and then this year with the deep threats we have with Smith and Spalding, it really doesn't make any sense that we're not throwing the ball deep more. Because Hauser typically does it well unless there is an injury situation, unless that wrist didn't recover right from the surgery or he re-aggravated it. So I do wonder if that is the situation. And, hopefully not. Hopefully he comes out here this week and lights it up. Look, good thing about it is if he is banged up and it's not something that needs surgery, if we can get past Tulsa, we got another off week before Temple. So a chance to get him healthy if there is some injury situation going on.
Dave, you're muted or something. We can't hear you.
Sorry, guys. Robert Dedrick Jr. says he agrees with you. Get the running game going.
Thank you, Robert.
Yeah, I mean,
the main thing I want to see is this offense with the play calling get on track, and if we get a big lead, don't take your foot off the pedal. We did that. Against. With Army? Yeah, we did that against Army. And, I mean, go up 21-0, and then all of a sudden you turn around and look, and you're still playing around. You don't need to let teams hang around. You need to keep your foot on the pedal. Finish the game. You don't need to let teams hang around. So let's do that tomorrow night. If we get a big lead, keep the foot on the gas. Don't let up. I mean, nobody's going to – this isn't like a – rec league ball where your parents are gonna get mad for running the score up or anything.
I do think there was some strategy behind it with Army, Stevie. Looking back at it,
well, it didn't work.
No, it worked.
We left points on the field.
But if you look at in terms of the run versus the pass against Army, if you look at what North Texas did, North Texas had a big lead, and then they started throwing the ball a lot because it's what North Texas does. And they had some 3-and-outs, which gave Army more possessions. It gave them a chance to come back, and that game went to overtime. North Texas won, but it went to overtime. Same with Kansas State. Kansas State at one point had a two possession lead in that game, and because of some 3-and-outs due to the pass, Army came back and won that game. So I think the strategy was to run the ball, run the clock, even if it didn't end in scores, shorten the game so Army got less possessions, no 3-and-outs. And with this offense, as we talked about, it can go cold and you can have several 3-and-outs in a row. So I do think in hindsight, the strategy against Army was probably a good one on the offense because it played into what we were doing with our defense. But in general, I agree with you, Stevie. Don't let people hang around. Yeah. Coastal Carolina is a good example of a game that we, ended up putting it away in the 4th, but that game should have been put away at halftime.
But Kyle, if we're looking to chew clock like that, like in the Army game, when we were running the ball, and especially in the second, there were several possessions in the second half, we were still running that up-tempo offense, and because they only took we had a 3 and out that only took like 40 seconds off the clock, and we did 3 running plays. I mean, I'm all about that, but if you're going to do something like if you want to run the ball and chew up some clock, you need to slow down the tempo.
Yeah.
Right. Don't you have to be who you are? I mean, you don't want to.
Well, I mean, but what I'm saying is what you're saying, and I agree with you. If they're going to
look, don't argue with me, Stevie.
I will argue with you right now.
I'll come to Lasker. I'll do it.
You forgot I'm not in. Hey, by the way, Brian, I think you were down close to my way. Weren't you in Kelford this week?
I toured through Kelford. Yeah, I was doing some street sign gathering, and I went through Kelford and checked it out there. Yeah. Yeah,
you need to make your way a little bit further. Kyle would love that. Come to a little town called Lasker.
Stevie is the second most famous person from Lasker.
Exactly, I'm the second most favorite.
You know who the most famous person is from Lasker? Brian?
No, who is
Chris Daltrey.
Yep.
Really? All right.
Yep, grew up right down the road from me.
Doesn't Lasker have a private school, high school there?
He is the head coach of Northeast. You're talking to the head coach of Northeast Academy.
Yeah, I think a couple of years ago, you guys actually put some footage against Bethel on your blitz that night, which and that popped up on my memories a couple of days ago. Yeah. But Kyle, that's what I'm saying. I mean, but what you're saying, don't we want to be ourselves? Yeah, we want to be ourselves, but we're getting away from that if we're trying to run clock off, right?
Yes and no. I mean, what I'm saying is, do you want to change the tempo and screw up what we're doing? We already struggle with false starts. Do you really want anybody to change?
Yeah, but I know, but I mean, I just
in hindsight with the Army game, when I look at the way Army has played in every game besides that one, look, Army has blown people out since we beat them. Yeah. And while they only had 1 win coming into that game, it was against Kansas State, and they should have beat North Texas. Yeah. And that Tarleton State team they lost to is going to be an FCS playoff team again this year. So, and then to look at what we did to Army, in hindsight, I have no problem with that game plan. We do not need to do that against Tulsa at all, or you're going to way Tulsa likes to throw the ball. And Trey Lamb's creative. That's something else that we need to look for with Tulsa. He's had an off week. He's gonna run some. And this is a podcast, Brian. He's gonna pull out some bullshit. He's gonna run all kinds of gadget plays and fake punts, and he may try to let the NCAA bring back the fumblerooski, or who knows. He may have one of his players stand on the sideline to talk to him and line up at receiver behind the line. There's no telling what he might do. He is that kind of coach, and with an off week to prepare, if I was Blake Harrell on the coaching staff, I would be ready for every bit of nonsense in the world.
Look, misdirection stuff against an aggressive defense, and when you're 2-4. Why not, right? Have some fun. And you're also talking about trying to recruit players and showing them you have a fun style of football. And so, no, I think at this point in the season, you start pulling out those stops and do what you can, because you're not in a great position at 2-4. So now to go back to the conversation before, when you're ECU, I think when you're trying to build a championship program, you have to be able to do what is required. And that's the one thing I've worried about is the running game with this, because there's going to be games that you need to run the football. You got to take your run offense on the road in colder temperatures and win games late in the year. And so this is a talented running back room that they have. And they have probably one of the best offensive lines I've seen at ECU in the last 15, 20 years. And so at some point, let those guys pin back and see if you can't get it done on the ground. I know it's not the personality of the offensive coordinator. I know what he has in his vision, but sometimes we just have to get up and do the mundane. We've got to take our shower. We've got to eat our breakfast. We've got to do things that you just have to do to get to the exciting part of the day. And so I think that run game, and you get an opportunity against a Tulsa team that may not be great against the run, and maybe because it's national TV and you're trying to look sexier for recruits and sexier for the networks and whoever's watching. But at some point, you just got to be able to run the ball and go back to your basics to do what you need to do to win, because you're going to have to win some games like that at some point.
Hey, guys, our good buddy Matt Semenza, one of the co-hosts of the show, chimes in tonight. We need to stretch the field with multiple receivers. Everyone knows Anthony Smith is the only vertical threat 90% of the time. Run vertical with Mike Wright as wide receiver, use his 4.4 speed. You can put him about any position, including quarterback, running back, wide receiver on
Can he catch?
I don't know. I mean, the great kid, and we maybe this is the night that we finally see Mike Wright, because I'm very frustrated as someone that covers the team, a fan, an alum, the whole 9 yards. If I'm Mike Wright, why did I come to East Carolina if you're not going to play me? I mean, I'm sorry. That may hurt some people in the Ward Sports Medicine building, but that's why we have a show. And whenever they do things right, we're going to say it. When they are not doing things, the fans listen and watch our show for a reason. It's because we say things they can't say in the Ward Sports Medicine building. And we have a lot of people that listen in the Ward Sports Medicine building and tell us what they wish that they could say what we say. So, Brian, what about that? What is the enigma there of Mike Wright?
Yeah.
The kid is very bright. He's not going to get in trouble. I think he knows the playbook. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm just trying to – that's been the biggest puzzle of 2025 for our team.
It was curious that he did transfer here with an established quarterback coming back, but maybe there is an injury history there with Hauser where he was going to get his opportunity. Maybe he wanted to try different positions. At this point, when kids become seniors and they're exhausting their eligibility, they still want to get to that 3-letter league. And so they're trying to find any way they can to do it, whether it's showcasing their talents, and maybe Mike just didn't have the right opportunity to do that as a quarterback and thought maybe this would be the best opportunity, or to expound upon getting to play other positions. I don't know. I haven't talked to him about that, but certainly that had to be some part of his decision-making of why he came here, where there was established quarterback already. Look, we've seen him catch the ball a few times. They've run a few packages for him. Obviously he's dynamic, and I think probably the coaching staff is worried about getting him injured just in case Hauser does go down, because then what do you do? Where are you with your quarterback situation? You've got some guys, but nobody with great game experience. And so I think he's more of an insurance policy at this point, but maybe as we get later in the season, you might see him start getting more involved in some of those plays where you're not as worried about his health as you get more quarterbacks experience, and as you get closer to the end of the season, and hope Hauser can make it all the way through.
Yeah, Robert Dedrick says, is Mike Wright a polished route runner? Does he have the experience to run choice routes with Hauser?
No,
I don't know how
he's
much
not a
time
polished route runner.
He's
definitely not a polished route runner.
Just don't do the obvious thing when he gets in the game and run a bubble screen to him.
Oh my God! Yeah, thank you.
Good Lord, that I mean, as soon as you put him in the game, and you throw a bubble screen to him, and there's like 4 guys all over top of him. They know where it's going.
That's one of probably the most overused play we have in the playbook. Here's a question for you guys at Peakscraft 2149. Who is running back 1, RB1
this week?
I think Gunn.
Yeah, I think Gunn will probably get it this week. I don't think Montgomery did enough to keep it. Certainly not. Jesus God, the
Parker
kid from
Jenkins.
Houston. Yes, Parker Jenkins. Thank you. Certainly hasn't done enough, though. I think the potential's there with him. And then I can't think of anybody's name. Engelman. Thank you. Engelman's the future, and Engelman's good, and he's got some burst, and I think he's got good vision. I think Engelman can be really good, but I would expect Gunn to get the start this week at running back.
Monica says, going to be a perfect night for football. Students will be back from fall break. Go Pirates.
Yeah, I got the night of the Boneyard, the blackout. Everybody remember to wear their black. There'll be some giveaways for the students. Going to be cool. It's going to be in the 40s. Probably not by the end of the game. Probably going to be around 50 degrees by the end of the game, but still, it's going to be cool. So bring your hoodies and jackets, and this is your official WCTI weather forecast.
Hey, Brian, by the way, Kyle doesn't want to go up there with me in the press box, but it will not be in the 40s in the press box. If it is, that's going to be a long night. But the food is excellent. I know they spent a ton of money, but it's a really nice. Kyle, you need to come out there one time with me.
It ain't for me, dude. It ain't for me. I don't belongs in the press box. Look, I could be a multi-millionaire and I wouldn't have a box seat.
I'm going to get you one of those.
It just ain't. It's not me. I want to be out there amongst the people.
Kyle's a man of the people.
Oh man,
it's football. Look, football. You're supposed to be outside in the elements,
Look
whether that's 40 degrees or 90 degrees, whether that's sun or rain.
He says he's going to have. Justin said he's going to have the heater on in the suite.
Typical Justin Butts. And Justin, I did see your comment earlier about you were the referee at that.
How about that? Justin is inviting you to his suite. Kyle.
It's not for me, Justin. I appreciate it, but it's not for me.
Brian, you know that his family, they have the trucking company that takes all the equipment around the country. So
Justin Butts' family, not my family, to be specific.
Well, yeah. Well, but you could actually ride in the Queen Anne's Revenge, right?
Justin's invited me many times. At some point, maybe I'll do that.
Well, Temple's coming up. So anyway, Brian, I know you've got Dad.
Dave, I told you I can't go anywhere the Temple weekend. That's Halloween weekend. My wife has to decorate for Christmas.
I'm not trying
Christmas
to get
yeah, my wife has to decorate for Christmas.
Hey, are we done talking about the Tulane game, Dave?
The
Tulane game?
I mean Tulsa, Kyle. Tulsa. You knew what I meant.
No, we'll circle back around.
You knew what I meant, Kyle. I said Tulane. I meant Tulsa. Are we done talking about it?
No, you could have won the Tulane game. You could have wanted to recap the Tulane game.
No, I'm looking at the time, and we've had Brian on for almost 30 minutes. He has dad duty. So, and what time, by the way, before we let you go, Brian, what time do you have to get up? I know you have to get up early in the morning.
Yeah, the alarm goes off at 2:30 in the a.m. Sometimes I hit the snooze once, but into work by 3:30, on the air by 4:30.
There you go. So, thank you,
Brian. Are you doing primarily news now versus sports?
Yeah. So, I started doing some news anchoring back in 2008 when we bought the Fox affiliate, but I was doing full time, and then they kept adding news duties, and the pandemic hit, and I got married late. Got married when I was 47, had my first child at 49, my second at 50. So I'm kind of the grandpa dad in the room. But I always said if and when I were ever to have kids that I would try to work a morning shift, and the opportunity came along in 2021 coming out of the pandemic when we had kind of the pause on sports. And so I learned that in 2020 I could live without being a game every night. And so I started in the morning show February of 2021. I still do the high school football show, still involved in sports a couple times a week, but yeah, mostly news in the morning and whatever fun features I can find out there. But kind of, I'll always be a sports guy, but they have me more on the news end and on the morning end now than on the evening end.
A friend of mine that lives in the Jacksonville area, which is, of course, for you guys, southeastern North Carolina is your biggest market, and Jacksonville, New Bern, et cetera. A friend of mine happened to be mentioning you yesterday and how much he liked you. And I was like, he's going to be on our show tomorrow night. Just coincidentally, they had no idea you were going to be on the show. So she enjoys watching you in the morning. So you got fans, Brian.
Well, thank God. As long as they're not throwing tomatoes at me, I'm good. And so we try to have a little bit of fun. And the morning show fits that. And plus, I still get to do sports in the morning. We don't do the taped stuff from the night before. I get to do the new now stuff. And so I've really enjoyed being able to do a lot of that as well in the mornings. But yes, we try to have a good time.
In fact, Justin Butts said that you got him. North got me one Friday night busting my rear end on the sidelines. He's a referee, so that's a good.
I hope he's not talking about working hard, because that definitely wasn't that. It had to be. It had to be falling down.
Brian, man, thank you so much, and hopefully the Martin County Gators can get a big win against Currituck. We've got that game. I'll be there obviously Friday night, and looking forward to, if you're there, come up in the booth and hang out with us. If you come. All right, man. And one more thing.
Appreciate the opportunity to talk.
Yeah, give the information about the Blitz before. I'm sorry, I was going to do that, and I just realized I was about to forget.
No, that's a big one for Friday night. Currituck in Martin County for first place. You can watch the Blitz, as we've done for the last, 30 plus years, even before I got there. Friday nights about 11:05 is when I tell people to tune in now. We've started earlier and earlier. And then if you're getting old and you can't stay up late, we rebroadcast at 7:30 a.m. Saturday morning on WCTI. And then we also, if you're more into the YouTube world, then at 8 a.m., we put our broadcast on YouTube, and we put extra highlights in there. So we can only get about 18, 19 games highlights in, and we shoot and cover a lot more than that. And so we put all the extra highlights in on our YouTube broadcast in at 8 a.m. Saturday mornings. And those have become pretty popular, and we get to take our time and analyze some stuff. So yeah, all the different platforms you can find the Blitz on Friday nights and Saturday
Brian,
morning.
one more thing real quick before you go. Did I have a fever dream, or did about, I don't know, 8 to 10 years ago, did you guys try an online statewide college football show that you hosted, or is that just something I made up in my head?
So we had tried, yeah, we in the infancy of not YouTube infancy, but trying to get more online stuff, we did start doing a college recap show. We tried to do it on a Sunday or a Monday, and so we did that for a little while, and I just couldn't get the decision makers and bosses to really get on board with it. So, but yeah, I had Matt. So it was 2015. You're right. 10 years ago is when we did it, and we had fun doing it. I just couldn't get everybody to. I was like the Revolutionary War guy carrying the flag. I went running out of it, and I looked back, and there was nobody with me. So,
I remember watching it a few times because you guys just didn't recap ECU and the ACC. You kind of recapped a lot of the FCS schools and highlighted a lot of the kids, I think, that from others that maybe played at an SEC school that grew up in New Bern or whatever. And I enjoyed it the one year you did it.
Yeah, it was great. We got 35, I think it's up to 35 colleges in our state that play college football at all various levels. And then we get kids that go all over the country. And we never have enough time in the newscast to cover all that stuff. And that was our opportunity to do it. And again, we loved doing it. It was just, the people who write the checks and they didn't see the value in it that 10 years ago. Now I've got a great guy in Luke Schwartz who's with me now who gets out there and covers a lot of that stuff on the weekends, and we're doing more features during the week. So we still try it. It's just not in that format. I had a great time doing it with Matt Trent, and wish we could keep doing it, but I understand the resources aren't always there for you. So you just do what the bosses tell you. But thank you for bringing that up. That was a fun year trying to do that.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, thank you so much for your time. You've been generous. We appreciate it. And we'll definitely be watching the Blitz on Friday night. And hopefully I'll be happy watching the Blitz. And we'll talk to you again really soon.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Appreciate the opportunity to join you.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys.
Bye-bye.
All right, thanks, Brian.
All right, thanks to Brian North. Appreciate him. Guys, I was sorry. I know that he gets up really early, so I was trying to be respectful to him. I thought it was like 3:30. I didn't know he got up at like 2:30. So I guess 2:30, 3:30. What difference does it make? But anyway, Johnny, let's go back to the Tulsa game. I was just trying to get him being fair to him. Let's talk more about the game.
I mean, do we really want to do that at this point? I mean, y'all want to move on? I have some stuff. But
go ahead.
Yeah,
Johnny.
Let's do it. I was just trying to get him off the air.
No, I was just going to say, I noticed in my head looking at, 1 through 14, I went to every team, how many total yards of offense they had. And then I went to see, how many points were scored. And there's some teams underperforming, points wise per the amount of yards they're ringing up. And, so what I did was I deducted any defensive touchdown, interception, fumble return, any special teams touchdown, and any safety. And then that left me with a raw offensive points scored number. And so then I tried to figure out how many points are these teams scoring per 100 yards of offense. And it's kind of disturbing. ECU scored the 6th most points, but they're only averaging 6.53 points per 100 yards, which is 10th. And Tulsa, they're 11th in total yards, but they're 14th. They're only scoring 5.07 points per 100 yards of offense. Meanwhile, North Texas is 9.63. Memphis, USF, and UTSA are all above 8. So, I mean, we got some work to do because it's not like these other teams aren't playing, tough teams as well. I mean, I'm not going to blame it on the schedule. I'm going to blame it on we're not converting the yards to points.
Yep.
No, we're not doing a good job at all scoring. We did do a better job in the red zone against Tulane. I'm thinking, did we score? I think we scored on every red zone possession against Tulane.
We did.
So that's an improvement. We just need more of them. going forward. But I'll say this about not necessarily about that, but about those teams. We have a better defense. Memphis plays good defense. North Texas couldn't stop air. South Florida, they don't need to. They score on everybody. They don't got to play defense. Same with Memphis. But my point is about winning football games that we don't have to match the South Florida, North Texas numbers. We just need our numbers to improve. If we can improve what we're doing, significantly, I think we'll beat everybody else on our schedule, with the exception maybe of Memphis. And we got two tricky back-to-back road games at UTSA and at FAU that are getting better. This is not an easy schedule the rest of the way. Tulsa and Charlotte are the only two games on paper that I'm 100% confident we should win. Temple is getting better every week. They should have beat Navy last week. FAU, UTSA are both getting better every week. And I absolutely despise closing the season on the road back-to-back games with UTSA and FAU. So, to your point, JR, if we don't improve our offense, instead of winning 7, 8, 9 games, we could be fighting for a bowl game. And people are going to look and think that sounds crazy, but it's the truth. Look, we're 3-3. And, check the scores from this past week. It ain't Cupcake City the rest of the way, despite what some people seem to think. It ain't. And so we definitely got to get better. I do think the good news is we don't have to get as good on offense as the South Floridas, the North Texas, or the Memphises. It'd be great if we did, but we don't have to because we actually have a defense. But we do have to improve what we're doing on offense. We got to improve the passing game in terms of consistency. The running game, I think, is improving, and I hope it continues to improve. But the biggest thing we need to do is what we did last week. Every time we get in the red zone, we need to come away with points, even if it's 3. And we're not doing good on converting on fourth down. So quit going for it on fourth down. Kick the damn field goal.
Yeah, take the points.
I agree 100% on that. We've been doing good in the last couple of years, but this year we are. Well, Johnny, you have the stats on fourth down?
Yeah, horrible.
No, that's not what I was gonna. I was gonna say something different, but go ahead, Dave.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Go off the top of your head. It's okay.
No, go ahead.
Anyway, so yeah, on fourth down, we're not very good, and you kind of got to be who you are. If you look back when Skip Holtz was here, if you're playing good defense, take the points, because you don't have to necessarily score 50. So when you get down to that red zone, if you can't convert on fourth down, don't keep going for it. Kick the field goal. JR, where were you going with your next point?
No, I was just going to say I was going to agree with you, Kyle, that we just scoring in the red zone is definitely an improvement, and I like to see that. But my next stat is going to be points per red zone appearance, because there's teams that are scoring touchdowns like 90% of the time, and that's the not the normal, that's the upper tier. But I'm not asking for that, but I do think we need to score more touchdowns than field goals, probably like 3-1, to be like an effective red zone team, not just scoring field goals. But it's a start, so I'm not going to complain about it.
Yeah, I think it depends on who you're playing. I think against Tulsa, it should be fine. Temple, I think it's going to be a slugfest, so that's going to be interesting. But no, you go up against Memphis and you settle for 3, you're going to get beat. But it is an improvement. I like, what we did in the red zone. We let Hauser scramble down there and make a play. I like the bubble screen we threw to, Brock Spalding. So I like some of what we did in the red zone against Tulane. So it'll be interesting to see what we do this week. We got to take advantage of our scoring opportunities. No matter how many that is, whether it's you want to get 6 each time, but at least come away with 3. And yes, there is the old rule of thumb that Steve Logan used to say, that's -4, but it's better than -7.
Exactly, and you are who you are, right? I think Matt had said that on Sunday night. You are who you are, and so every year is going to be different. stating the obvious, but in this particular case, if we're not good on fourth down, like you said, kick the field goal, don't go for it. And why not go for, I think what we have to do right now is we're going to have to score, we talked about points. Well, we don't have to score 1 million points like in the past, but you're right, Kyle. If we score, what was it that Mike Steele said? Mike Steele. Phil Steele said 31, 32 points a game is what he thought we would average.
And if we can do that the rest of the way, if we can get up, if we average 31 to 32 points a game the rest of the way, I feel really good about the remainder of the schedule. So because we can play defense. So if we can do that, I think we're golden. What are we averaging per game right now, JR? Do you know off the top of your head?
How many points are we averaging per game? Kyle.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we played 6 games. We have 171 points. So that's 25, almost 20, almost 30 a game. I would say 28.4, something along those lines.
Yeah. So if you can get that up to 32 a game, 33 a game, JR, do you agree with me? Would you feel pretty good the rest of the way about minimum 7-5, if not 8-4?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So we're not as far off as it might seem.
I agree with that too, Kyle. We're not horrible.
28.5, Johnny. You were right on it. Cause I'm looking at the stats now. 28.5. We're ranked 72nd in the nation. I thought we were a little bit better than that, but defense is allowing 15.5, and they're ranked 15th in the nation. So,
yeah, if you keep that there, and you can get that offense up to maybe around 40th to 50th in the nation,
right?
Yeah, it's so funny. Preseason, Matt predicted us to be a top 20 offense, and we're a top 20 defense.
Yeah, everybody
Imagine if we were both.
Everybody was so worried. We were so worried about the defense, and they've been the cornerstone of the team.
Oh, no doubt.
Hey, guys, are we done talking about Tulsa? Can we move? I did have one topic I want to talk. I saved it towards the end of the show on purpose.
It's related to the Tulsa game, but
okay, go for it.
Just not a football comment, but just in general. What does everybody think of What does everyone think of blackouts? 2-part question. What does everyone think of blackouts? And 2, what does everybody think of the new helmets? And I have a thought on the new helmet. I think it looks fantastic. But why in the hell would we debut it at the night of the Boneyard blackout game? Would we not be wearing a black helmet with a skull and crossbones on it?
Well, that was one of the topics I had for the.
With a skull and cross, and we take our skull and crossbone and our black helmet away.
Yeah.
But I do love the new helmets. I would have just saved them for another game.
I agree.
What is everybody's thoughts on those 2 topics? The helmets, 2 parts. Do you like them, and would you have broke them out in a different game? And what does everybody think of blackouts?
I do like the helmets, but I'm like you, Kyle. Don't take away the black. You need to go, if you're going to have a blackout, you need to be going black. Not purple.
Plus, it's called Night of the Boneyard.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And as far as blackouts go, I love them. We have them at Northeast Homecoming. We wear black, and some people don't like it because they're, they like their traditional stuff. But it's like I try to tell them, these kids love it and they get fired up. It's something to get them fired up a little bit for it. And I think this does get the team fired up a little bit.
Yeah. Johnny, what about you? How do you feel about it?
I'm anti-black uniforms normally, but actually when it comes to the Pirates, and just, I guess, because they're Pirates, I feel like black looks good. And like the Redskins, I don't even know. Those uniforms they were wearing Monday night, they were, I guess, black, maybe dark burgundy, but I didn't like those at all. But with the Pirates, I don't like
I
any
really
black
didn't like
uniform.
them either, John. You're right.
No,
I didn't
I
like
didn't like them. And Tennessee came out with black. A lot of teams when they break out the blacks, they get rolled. So I mean, I don't think that's going to happen tomorrow night. But I think the Pirates they do a really good job with their black uniforms. I think they look sharp. I love them. I love the helmet. But like Kyle, why take the bones off the helmet on Night of the Boneyard? I don't get that.
Yeah,
everybody wants to go black to be like Pittsburgh. Y'all keep on trying. That's
regular football. They're trying to be regular football.
I'm gonna isolate some of these comments that have been made and just edit some things and just make everyone lose their jobs.
Well, my thing is, I'll tell you the blackout for me. Love the blackouts. I absolutely love the black helmet with the black uniform. And Johnny, you're spot on. I hadn't thought about that being Pirates and black. I mean, that's perfect. And the purple helmet looks great. It's just it doesn't.
Oh, it's a beautiful helmet.
It doesn't match. I'm glad, Kyle. I was going to bring that up in our Great Minds Think Alike. I was going to bring that up in our roundtable at the end of the show. That was one of the topics. And the one good news I will say about us talking about the uniforms, that means that the season's not miserable where we're talking about how bad.
I got a question about the helmet, and I don't know if Justin's seen it in person. In the video, it makes it look like it's a darker purple. Is it our normal purple, or is it like now? If it's like a midnight purple, I still think it would have made more sense to keep the skull and bones on it for this game. But if it's like a midnight purple, that's kind of cool, where it has almost shimmers of black to it. It looked like that in the video, but I think that was lighting effects. Does anybody know?
I don't know. I just saw Justin says it's a darker purple.
Okay, Then that's pretty. If it's actually as dark as it looks in that video, that's pretty sick. I still don't understand why you take the skull and crossbones off for this game, but I do love the helmet, and I hope we use it for other games after this.
No doubt. And by the way, guys, while we have a chance, one of the topics I wanted to talk about is people are going to say, "Why are you talking about it?" But the 2026 schedule came out. As far as the teams we're going to play,
and we're going to play the Owls, and we're going to play the Owls.
That's true. This is true. Just want to get your thoughts on. Everybody's like, it's 2025. Why are we talking about it? Well, because they released it. They released it a lot earlier than they usually do, right? So we want to go ahead and we'll talk about it. We're not going to talk about it ad nauseum, but we want to talk about it. I want to get
the conference dates aren't scheduled, just the opponents.
Right.
If you look at next year's conference schedule, so the highlights are going to be South Florida and App State. You got to hope that South Florida
home games, right?
Yes. So you got to hope that South Florida game is not on a Thursday, because you want to make sure you can sell some tickets to it. You don't get either of the academies at home, which I think they're always a good draw. Outside of South Florida and App State, I don't think our home schedule is very appealing next year. I'm appealing to me. As long as the Pirates are playing, I'm going. But it's we got, I believe, the home. I'll bring it up here.
You don't like the North? You don't like the North Carolina Central game?
I like playing one FCS, so if it's North Carolina Central, that's fine. Temple. I enjoy playing Temple because of the old, independent days and when we wanted to be in the Big East. So that one's appealing too. So, but we got 3 Owls coming to Greenville: Florida Atlantic, Rice, and Temple. All 3 coming to Greenville. That is insane. When you think about it, we have 3 teams with the same mascot coming to Greenville.
Get your season tickets for the Owls.
So the conference schedule is Florida Atlantic, Rice, Temple, South Florida, and Greenville. On the road, we go to Army, to Charlotte, to Memphis, and then we finally play UAB again. I like the road schedule better. The road schedule I wish was the home schedule. But
it is good.
It is what it is. Overall, at Alabama, at ODU, I don't know what we're going to get with ODU. Alabama's going to be a tough one. I think the schedule's fine. I don't think the home schedule is extremely exciting. Again, outside of South Florida and App State. I don't know how everybody else feels about Temple. I don't guys. Do you find Temple to be an appealing home game? I do,
Yes.
but I don't know how most people feel about it.
I'm going to the game, and Johnny, hopefully you can go with me. But where I'm driving away to Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'm planning on it.
Yeah,
I'm planning on going.
So I mean, it's you're spot on, Kyle, when you talked about the independent days. We have history with them, and it's on the East Coast. It's easy to get to.
Yeah, but I'm talking about more specifically playing them in Greenville
For home. Oh yeah, I mean home game. I think it's I mean, to me, it's a brand name. I know that it's not the upper echelon, if you will, of college football, but it's still a brand name when it comes to us. So I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I just wish we would have been able to put Kennesaw State on the home schedule instead of North Carolina Central, and then we could sweep all 4 OWL programs in one time.
There you go. We could just beat every OWL. Do you guys
can have
just
for our blackout next year? We can have Night of the Owl, right, or the Owl?
Well, we could, yeah. So just quickly off topic, and then we're gonna get out of here. I don't know what else Dave had, but Dave will get everybody whatever you have, what anybody else had. But this is the last thing I want to bring up. I understand why the American and these other conferences got away from divisions because you want your 2 highest ranked teams playing for a chance to go to the playoff. But if you looked at this, if we had an East Division now, it would be East Carolina, Charlotte, Temple, South Florida, Florida Atlantic, Army, Navy, UAB, and you'd have you look at that, and you would have very traditional programs with Temple, Army, and Navy. Easy trips that would go into Philly, going to Annapolis, an appealing trip to West Point. Then you'd have trips to Tampa, you'd have trips to Boca, and then of course then Birmingham being the outlier. But if we went to divisions with this league, I think it would be a lot more appealing, and I think you could get some real rivalries going. And with the way the league is now geographically, but unfortunately, at least for the time being, I think the days of divisions are gone. But I do think the American East now would be very appealing, more so than it is in the current setup. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree with that.
Yeah, I'll go first.
Like it.
Yeah, I like it because exactly, Johnny. I like it, and what we're talking about is going when we go to Philadelphia. And just like you said, Kyle, I'm taking the kids to Boca Raton for right.
I mean, this is 2 straight years we don't have Navy on the schedule, which some people may say, yay, because we don't have to friggin' play Navy. But at the same time, that outside of Charlotte is by far our closest team, and we're not playing them now 3 years in a row, probably because we'll play them probably again in 27 before they rotate back on to 28. But that's the school we should be playing every year because of proximity.
Correct. We're closer to Navy, right? Well,
no, not than Charlotte, but they're the second closest.
Yeah,
by a mile.
Yeah, and it's I really like, Johnny. How do you feel? I really like, and Stevie, how do you like? I love the service academies. I know Simmons is probably going, oh my gosh. I know he has nightmares of.
Yeah, you go to divisions and you have Army and Navy both on the schedule every year. Matt might kill himself.
So I feel you, Simmons. I know what Simmons is saying right now. He might be throwing something against the TV or the computer right now, but I like you. We've talked about it off air, Kyle. I know, and sometimes I think, I don't know about you guys, but I think we need to be different because that's what gets the attention. And I think another thing is the American teams are getting better. So I think we would have, in my opinion, Kyle, you get the best of both worlds because we get the rivalries like you're talking about. And I believe that we have enough good teams in the conference. One of those teams, like right now, I think we have 3, possibly 4 that could potentially, well, definitely 3 that could go to the playoff.
That's 4. Navy could too.
Navy too. Yeah. Okay. So 4. Okay. 4 teams that potentially could go to the playoff. Okay. So it's not like we're a 1 bid league where we're going, God knows if we get this team in, then that's the only chance we have. Our league is a lot better than people give us credit for, and I agree with you. I think the other thing is, if you're looking from East Carolina's perspective, the administration, that's less money we have to spend if we can do bus trips versus planes. That's just I like the old school driving. I think the driving and the people may disagree with me. I love the rides.
Well,
But I know
you wouldn't do bus trips beyond Charlotte and maybe Navy. You're not going to do a bus to Philly, but it still would be a lot closer, and it would be better for the fans. Be more trips they could make.
Yeah.
I get why the conference is doing it the way they're doing it, because for instance, in this scenario, Tulane and Memphis would be in the same division, and you ideally maybe you need them playing for the championship this year, to ensure a playoff spot, but. I don't really think it's necessary. I think it's overthinking. I think if you do divisions, it'll work itself out.
Yeah, it would only work if we needed that. Like I said, we only had one or two good teams. I think there's enough good teams in our league to handle that. So, do you guys have anything else? We need to do our predictions and get out of here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I'm going to say East Carolina. Man, this is not easy. I'm going to East Carolina 27, Tulsa 17.
I'll go next. ECU 31, Tulsa 10.
What do you think, Johnny?
Well, as usual, no one really stole my score. Kyle and Stevie, if you put them together, you'll get my score, which is 31-17.
Oh my God, that's what. That's what I was. All right, I was going to say 31-17. I'll say
34-17. Oh, you got 31? Okay.
31-21. I'll say 10-point difference.
All right, now I want to add something to the 31-17. 5 for 5 in the red zone with 4 touchdowns.
I would rather have Johnny's score, but I don't want to be copycat. That's the first score that came to mind.
How did you get to 31?
Huh? 5
touchdowns.
Red zone. No, 5 red zone scores, 4 touchdowns and a field goal.
Okay, got you.
All right, guys. Final thoughts, and we'll get out of here. Who wants to go first? And we'll.
I'll go. I just want to see them, like I said earlier, see the offense get more consistent, good play calling. If we get a big lead, keep your foot on the gas, don't let up. So that's what I'm hoping for tomorrow night.
If we do get a big lead, one thing I don't know that we will, but one thing that I'll remind Blake Harrell of, we make more money the more touchdowns we score. Literally, we have a program. The more points we score, the more touchdowns we score, the more money gets donated every Tuesday if you've signed up for it. So, I don't know that we're going to be in a position to do that, but if we are, then I'm like Stevie, keep your foot on the gas, keep scoring, not only to put the game away, and to look good, but also make some more money for revenue sharing.
No doubt, guys. I'm looking for a big game. I've been saying this, but I'm looking for a big game from Hauser. Let's pretend, this is a term I've been waiting on a few days now. Let's go balls to the wall. Let's stop playing not to lose. Let's go balls to the wall. Score, more scoring. I hope that I'm wrong. I hope 31 is off and that we score more than 31 points.
Yeah. 31 isn't all that much against Tulsa, by the way.
What's that?
31 points against Tulsa is really not all that much. I'm hoping that on a rare occasion, I want to see the run game over the pass game. But I want to see, I'm greedy. I also want to see Hauser with a nice deep ball. So There you go.
All right, guys, should be great. Let's see. So, Kyle, are you coming? You'll be there tomorrow night?
As long as I feel up to it, yeah. I'm kind of not feeling great tonight, but I would have to be feeling pretty crappy to miss an ECU game, so I should be there.
Okay, cool. And I know Johnny's going to be there. I'll be there. And we know a lot of you will be there. So
And happy
good luck
birthday to Stevie. Stevie's birthday is tomorrow.
tomorrow, Stevie.
Stevie turns 60 years old. So happy birthday, Stevie.
Oh my God, he's 52.
60 years old, living in Northern Virginia.
Yeah, that's right.
He's 52, not 60.
Oh, 52. Oh, okay.
Yeah, all right. I know that was a joke, but anyway,
I
we'll
was
get
going
out
to
of here,
give a
guys.
good compliment to Kyle, but forget that now.
What was the compliment, Stevie?
Never mind. You'll never know.
All right. Well.
Text me,
Yeah, you should
Stevie.
have gone if he's sweet 45 and you would have got the compliment.
Text me.
All right, guys. Hope you have thanks for watching and appreciate Brian North. Make sure you follow us on all our social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can follow us and on Twitter at the Sports OBJ, at the Sports Objective. We're on Instagram. We're everywhere at the Sports Objective, on TikTok as well. Good night, everybody. And as always, go Pirates.
You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.